on, everyone? So, a surprising stat this season is the Lakers are actually a top 12 team in three-point percentage. This season, the Los Angeles Lakers are shooting 37.2% from three-point range. They are averaging 11.5 makes per game on 30.8 attempts. This going into the season didn't really seem like a huge surprise, right? Because you get into the season, it's like, okay, Taurean Prince, he's a guy that's 38 to 40% from three. Austin Reeves shot 40% last year. Right? D'Angelo Russell shot 40% from three last year. Rui Hachimura, you got to imagine he's going to be improved. Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent. And you start going down the list of guys, and you're like, okay, the Lakers could actually be a very serviceable, formidable three-point team. The real question was LeBron, right? Like, can LeBron be good enough to kind of balance out the three-point shooting? And LeBron's been fantastic this year. And a lot of it is early on, guys struggled, right? Taurean Prince was like, there was like the stretch, like the first month of the season where Taurean Prince was like lights out. He was shooting like 44% or 43% from three-point range early on. And he was a guy that, he vowed to shoot 40% on the season. He was knocking down 3 to 4 threes a game. Now he's coming off of a couple solid outings recently, but he's kind of hit these struggles. He's still averaging 2 made threes a game, which is solid, and he's shooting just a hair under 39% from three-point range. So you add in a guy like a Taurean Prince who can knock down the three ball. Austin Reeves early on was atrocious. Like at one point, he was shooting like 28% from three-point range, and he has since then really kind of came back on and started knocking down threes with some consistency, with some regularity. Now on the season, he's 37% on 1.8 made threes a game, and he's averaging 4.8 attempts. Now, if he can continue to shoot the way that he's been shooting, all of a sudden, his three-point percentage could go up, and then the Lakers, once again, could be in really good space. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, the Lakers move into like 11th, maybe even the top 10, if one, Austin Reeves continues to perform the way that he's performing. Taurean Prince and Rui Hachimura and all these other guys, especially D'Angelo Russell, if D'Lo can continue his hot shooting and his hot streak, where he's knocking down, 4 or 5 threes a game, then the Lakers could really be in that position. And like D'Angelo Russell, for example, is just, he's shooting the lights out, right? He's averaging 2.8 made threes on 6.6 attempts, and he's shooting almost 42% from three-point range. However, in the last month, he's shooting 45% from three-point range. And the beauty of the three-point shooting is, obviously, we're in a league where the three-point shot is so prominent, and it is so important to the game of basketball. But it also just opens up so much more for the Lakers, right? Like, take last year, for example. Lakers, for the most part, were a poor three-point shooting team. So what did teams do? They start packing the paint. And you see, even this year, a lot of times, teams will start that. Teams will start to pack the paint, or they'll run zone, or they'll do things to try to just force the Lakers into taking threes. And when the Lakers are making them, guess what? It opens everything up. It puts the Lakers in such a dominant position because you have a guy like an Anthony Davis, like a LeBron James, who, if they can, if you can spread the floor enough to where now Anthony Davis gets to go one-on-one on an island, or if the defense traps on Anthony Davis, guess what? He's kicking it out to a D'Lo. He's kicking it out to a Taurean Prince in the corner. He's kicking it out to these various guys that are capable of knocking down the three ball at an efficient clip. And so now it's like, okay, well, what do we do? Do we trade? Do we trust the one-on-one matchup with Anthony Davis? Or do we go and try to not close out on these? It puts the defense in such a compromised position. And then that also opens the floor to allow LeBron James to get ahead of steam and get downhill. Or D'Angelo Russell, right? His ability to get into the paint, kind of pick and choose his spots, and then use his pull-up game from the mid-range. Or you see him, he's being more aggressive in attacking the basket, right? Seeing D'Lo kind of get the little pump fake at the three-point line, the defender bites because, again, he's shooting the lights out, so he's got to make the contest. D'Lo's taking that step, getting to the basket, kind of navigating, and then he's either able to make a play to get somebody set up, or he's able to just get to the basket for a layup. And you've seen him get a lot more layups lately than he did earlier in the year, right? Again, that's because it opens so much up. Sticking with Austin Reeves, right? I've talked about heavily all season. If he can just find his three-point stroke, it's going to make Austin Reeves more efficient, but it's also going to make things so much easier for Reeves. Reeves really had his struggles early on because he wasn't able to knock down the three. So when you can't shoot the three, teams are just letting you have that, and now you become predictable. Now I know, hey, you're 0-3 from 3. At some point, you're going to stop shooting threes, and you're going to try to get into the paint. You're going to try to, get to the basket. You're going to try to pull up in the mid-range. So let me just give you some space. I mean, there were literal times where teams were just letting Austin Reeves be wide open and take those deep threes. And weren't even contesting. They were just getting back and getting ready for the rebound. Because again, the numbers say, let him shoot it. He's shooting 29% from 3. But all of a sudden, he starts shooting 40% from 3-point range. He's, 2 of 5 from 3. It's like, well, now we have to challenge that because now all of a sudden he's knocking down threes. So now the defense has to go out, has to make the contest, and now he gets to, get into his spots, open up the lanes for him, kind of get into his mid-range, start getting into his bag a little bit, and score. Just, again, opens things up and makes things so much easier. Another big thing, LeBron and Rui. So let's start with Rui Hachimura. Obviously, LeBron and Rui were working out all offseason. Rui Hachimura basically glued himself to LeBron all offseason, and you've seen it change, right? You've seen the significance in Rui, and Rui has been excellent for the Lakers this year, right? And so far on the season, he's averaging 25 minutes. He's giving you 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 will be nice, rounded up to 1 steal. It's 0.7, 1 steal, half a block. But from 3-point range this season, he's shooting just, a hair under 41%. He's shooting 40.9% from 3-point range on 3.1 attempts. So Rui going from last year with the Lakers, Rui Hachimura shot 29.6% from 3-point range. Now in the playoffs, Rui becomes Steph Curry in the playoffs, right? When it comes to 3-point range, right? So the year he was in the playoffs with Washington, he shot 60% from 3-point range. Last season with the Lakers, in the playoffs, Rui Hachimura shot almost 49% from 3-point range. At one point in the playoffs, I believe it was the Grizzlies series, he shot 55% from 3-point range. So that was really impressive. He's closer now to being playoff Rui from 3-point land. So, you get that significant uptick. He's having the best 3-point percentage of his career outside of the 2021-2022 season with the Washington Wizards, in which he shot 44.7% on 2.9 attempts. But he's shooting about 0.2 attempts more with the Lakers and shooting it at 41%. But you see the confidence, right, in it. You see his ability to he's not even thinking about it, right? He's getting the ball and he's just taking the shot. But also, I love that you've seen the progression and evolution of Rui this season to where he's not just settling for threes, right? He'll kind of use the 3 to kind of get everything open. He'll start knocking down a 3 or 2. Now the defense comes out to contest, and you see him, much like I mentioned D'Lo, Rui, he'll kind of give you the little pump fake. You have to go contest it because he's shooting 41%. And now he's getting to the basket using his size, strength, and physicality to get to the mid-range or get to the basket and actually finish through contact or get a layup or whatever it is, right? And so it's opened up Rui Hachimura and his offensive game tremendously, and which then in return opens up everyone else's. So I still believe Rui Hachimura, and everything backs it up, that Rui is just better at the 4 than he is the 3, and he becomes that much more of a mismatch, right? Because at the 3, shooting 41% from 3-point range is very good regardless, right? I don't want to undersell shooting that from 3-point range, but it's one thing to do that as a 3. It's another thing to do that as a 4. There's very few 4s in this league that are shooting 41% from 3-point range. So when you do that, and usually those guys are kind of undersized, right? Usually those guys are like, the 6'7", they're really small forwards that are playing power forwards, and they're knocking down, an efficient clip. Where Rui, no, he's a true sized power forward, at 6'8", is, 240, 250, whatever he is, but he's just physical, lower center of gravity, and can just be that mismatch down on the block. So his ability at the 4 to stretch the floor, that usually means you have another shooter, hopefully, at the 3-point range in the 3, at the 3 spot. And now you just have all this versatility when it comes to shooting. And then if you have D'Lo and Reeves, right, it's just, it opens up so much more for the Lakers. But in my opinion, the real piece that kind of puts it all together is LeBron James. LeBron, the big question, I even talked about this going into the season, right? I thought we could be a good 3-point shooting team. Again, I have videos diving into this, right? Hey, I believe the Lakers could be, maybe a potential top 15, top 10 3-point shooting team. Right now they're in that range. But I thought it all hinged on LeBron, right? LeBron last season shot 32% from 3-point range on 7 attempts. I mean, when your highest volume 3-point shooter is only shooting 32%, your shooting percentage as a team is going to go down tremendously. But LeBron this year is shooting 40.7%. So again, almost 41% on 5.4 attempts and averaging 2.2 makes, right? Which is the same amount of makes that he had last year, but he's taking almost 2 fewer threes. Well, when that happens and you get that efficiency, guess what? All of a sudden, the rising tides raise all ships, right? Like, that's what's happening. Because, if everyone was shooting 40% from 3, but LeBron's coming in and he's shooting 32%, well, now that just affects all your averages, especially when he's taking the most threes out of anybody on the team. Where if he was only taking 1 or 2, and the Lakers have 12 made threes, and he's only accounting for like 1 of those, well, now it's not as much of an impact. Now it's not as significant. But when he's taking 7 or 8 of them, you even look at the previous year, right? Like, he shot 36%, which isn't terrible, but on 8 attempts, right? Like, it's going to affect your 3-point percentage. So LeBron, to me, his 3-point shot is what has really helped the Lakers in that regard, and is what has helped put the Lakers in the position to where, oh no, they are actually a really good 3-point shooting team. And to put this in perspective, the year that the Lakers won the championship, right, in 2020, which I know was a lifetime ago, but the 3-point shot was still a very big thing, was still a very prominent thing. The Lakers were like 26th in 3-point percentage. So if they can maintain this and get into the postseason, start getting their defensive guys back, a Gabe Vincent, a Jared Vanderbilt. They just got Cam Reddish back. Christian Wood should hopefully return eventually. Gabe Vincent is also another guy that can knock down the 3 ball. Christian Wood is another guy that can knock down the 3 ball. Jared Vanderbilt, he was respectable before he got hurt. If that can maintain and he can continue to do that, although he wasn't taking a ton of them, right? If you start getting all these pieces together, you start getting the defensive side of things together, if you can maintain the 3-point shooting, all of a sudden you look at the Lakers and you're like, okay, the Lakers could be a real problem for many teams in this league, especially when they're hitting shots. And you just see it, right? When the Lakers are confident and they're shooting, a decent percentage from 3-point range, it makes everything so much easier. Right? Because again, it just opens everything up, and it allows LeBron and Anthony Davis to be LeBron and Anthony Davis without having to fight through 5 guys, because now teams can't just pack the paint and throw everybody in the kitchen sink at LeBron and AD, because you have Reeves and D'Lo and Prince and Rui and and hopefully Vincent when he returns, and then hopefully Christian Wood and Spencer Dinwiddie if he can kind of come around. For me, it's when it comes to Spencer Dinwiddie, it's more so just his role. I hate the role he's in right now. But point being, the Lakers being a good 3-point shooting team should bode very well, right? Because even when you get into the postseason, we saw it in the in-season tournament, and we saw it in all of their playoff run last year that got to the conference finals. You put LeBron and AD down on the blocks. You put them down and you just run everything inside out. You put the ball in their hands and let them kind of dictate everything. And what happens is, last year we struggled shooting the three ball, but LeBron James and Anthony Davis kind of had their way on the interior. D'Lo and Reeves were doing D'Lo and Reeves things until that Denver series, of course. But, you kind of had that inside out game. And what it ultimately ends up happening, and then Rui knocking down his shots. Well, this year, you can do the same thing, and you have Rui, D'Lo, and Reeves, who are all shooting 40+% from three. So now they start getting going. Reeves, Rui, D'Lo, playoff versions, right? If they can kind of have that efficiency and have that translate, especially Rui, who in the playoffs all of a sudden becomes a 50% three-point shooter. If he can, kind of do that again, replicate that, all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh. Here come the Lakers. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts on the Lakers' three-point percentage? Are you surprised? Is this something that you're not? You're like, yeah, kind of saw that coming. Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.